Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, first off, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you had a great time off and celebration, and let's hope 2021 is going to be an incredible year, especially for us photographers. All right? So what I want to do today is show you how quickly it is to add additional objects into a sky. So let's get started. So here's the original image that we're going to start with. And this is what we're going to transform it into. All right? So let's start by coming over here to the history tool. And I just want to start from the very beginning. And we'll start my catalog view. There we go. And then go to templates. I can't stress this enough. Start with templates. What templates are going to do for us is it gives us a great starting point to where we can start adding on and add our own edits to it. But it's going to help us do all the boring stuff, enhancing the detail, the tone, the depth of the image. I always use the AI, I always use the accent AI slider. I always make sure I add details. I always add structure. Well, if I'm always doing those things on a regular basis to every image, why not let the templates do it to give me a jump start on the creative side? So here I am, and I went through these here, and I landed on natural skies. And watch this. Here's crack of dawn. Look at that. Before and after. All right, let's go over to the edit menu. And from here, under creative, the creative tools, I want to go and select adjust the augmented skies. Now, for augmented skies, I'll come down and we'll select the first set of birds. Now, here's where we have to make a decision. When the birds come in, if we keep the birds small, the birds appear further away from the subject. But I'm going to click on place object, but if I enlarge the birds from here, and let's see, on this side here a little bit, and then move them up, now the birds appear closer to her, and in the image, it looks like she's commanding the birds to come to her. All right, so let's go right about here, and I just press the enter key to commit the birds, to commit the change. Now, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. And I do see a couple issues. One issue is the bird here is appearing on an arm, and there's another one down here. Well, this is where we can select the mask tool and under erase at 100% opacity. Good. And I'll use the left and right bracket keys on the keyboard to make the brush larger and smaller. This is where I'm going to come in and just erase the areas that I don't want. I'll just do this here. Great. And then while I'm at it, these birds up here in the corner, let's get rid of those. There, that looks great. And then I'll just press enter, and I commit the change. There we go. All right, so we haven't said, look how fast that was. I mean, for anyone that's ever had to replace backgrounds, oh Lord, it was so tedious that you have to mask everything out, especially with her hair. Here, Luminar AI did it automatically for us. Now, there's a couple things I want to fix in the image. Let's draw more attention to her. So let's make the bottom half of the image appear a little bit darker. This is where local masking comes in. I'll select basic, and I want to come over to exposure. Let's drop the exposure down a little bit. Notice it was a global change, meaning everything became darker. Well, if I select the paintbrush, I want to select the gradient tool, or the gradient mask, and all I want to do is let the bottom half of the image, apply the effect to the bottom half of the image, not to the top. And if you come over here to the three dots, you can show mask and you can actually see in red where it's applying and then how it fades off to where there's no effect to it. And we have it set. Now I can take it another step further with vignette, and I'm going to select her, and let's just go overboard for a moment so you can see where it's applying it. Now I want to make sure that the roundness is what I'm looking for. I want to feather the daylights out of this. Good. And while we're at it, I'll add a little inner light to make her stand out. Great. Now we'll apply the proper amount. Good. And of course the size. Notice when I'm doing this, you can actually see, here, we'll turn it off, turn it on. You can actually see how the light brings it right to the subject. And there we have it. One last thing I might want to do is come over to details, and let's just bring out a little more detail in the image. And that's good, and I'm set to go. So there you have it. In a very, very short time, we were able to take a good image and make it even better by adding additional objects to the screen. Now, a few people have been asking me, can we add multiple objects? As of right now, the answer to that is no. So if you desperately have to add more objects to the background, there's two ways you could do it. Well, there's several ways, but here are two quick ways. One is you would just save this. You would come over here to export and just save this to the disk and save it as a TIFF because it'll give you more quality, and then save it right to the same folder where you have this image already stored. Then you can apply it. But now keep in mind when you do that, you're flattening the image and then you're applying another object on top. Or the second option, if you have Luminar 4, add the extra to Luminar 4, then bring it over here to replace the second object. So that's a simple way to add it in. And as of right now, we don't have that ability, but you saw how cool the local masking was. Let me pull it up here. That local masking I can foresee here. Right now you have structure and you have different warming tools and vibrancy tools here. I can actually see them applying something here to it'll give us more freedom to do different creative things that we want. But as of right now, those are the two ways I showed you how you can add them. But overall, I'm really happy with what we have here. All right. Now, if you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have questions or comments, leave them in the comments below, and we'll try to answer them to the best we can. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you at the next coffee break.